time.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. Thanks for staying with me. If you're just tuning in, my guest today is Karen Mangini. She is the founder of the Bow Wow Method, and we're talking about all things dogs today. She has Mandy sitting in the chair next to her in the studio, and Toby is right here by my feet under the desk. I'm just in heaven today. Karen, thanks so much for being here. I wanted to ask, we wanted to give the name of the foundation that you're working for.
Yes, it's www.catsanddogsfoundation.org, and that's with one D between the and the dog.
And the phone number?
The phone number is 877-570-4646.
So give them a call and find out how you can get involved, how you can help. Maybe you can donate. But, I mean, when people are rescuing animals and doing work with our wounded vets, it's a really good cause. So the number is 877-570-4646. Can any dog be trained to be a service dog, or are there some breeds that just don't take so kindly to this?
No, all dogs are trainable. Doesn't matter if they're pit bulls or Doberman pinschers. It doesn't matter. Pit bulls have gotten a bad rap because it's not in their DNA to attack other dogs. It's what we've done to them. And I know several pit bulls that are therapy dogs. Yes, all dogs are here to help us heal. Dogs come from the heart. Dogs live in the moment, and dogs are telepathic. All dogs, all animals.
And dogs have that same emotional bond with their owner. I mean, I know when I've seen photos on the news of, a dog that belonged to a vet who died when it won't leave the casket. I mean, it's like the most heartbreaking thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to understand that, they want to connect with us as much as we want to connect with them.
Exactly. They've been trying to communicate with us for years, but they've given up. So,
all right, you were telling me how you also get involved in the READ program. I had never heard of this.
Oh, yes.
And what a fabulous, having been a teacher, I can say I wish I had known about the READ program then. So tell us about that.
Yeah, well, children that are that have trouble reading, they get intimidated when they get in front of the class to read. So, but they don't with a dog.
There's always that read out loud in the class thing.
Yes,
and I remember it's paralyzing for some children.
So at libraries or at the end of the day at school, they have programs called Reading Education Assistant Dogs, and we go into these places and the children come and read to the dogs, and they come back over and over again each week because they get inspired to what book do you think Mandy would like to hear this week? And so, yes, it helps remedial children read, and it's an amazing thing.
And does their reading improve as the weeks go on?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing what these animals can do. If I could share, we used to go to a rest home, Mandy and I, and there was a gentleman that was in a coma, and his wife still wanted us to come and talk and hang out. And when he finally, after 6 months, when he woke up from the coma...
He woke up after 6 months?
Yes. That's the first thing he said was, "Where's Mandy?"
Really?
Yeah. And then also at a developmentally disabled school, there was a little girl who, and we didn't know, but her background story, but Mandy and I went up to her and started doing our little routine. Mandy says little prayers, and and the little girl reached out, opened her eyes and reached out and started petting Mandy, and the teachers behind me were aghast. I didn't know this was the first time. She'd been there for, 4 or 5 months, and this was the first time she ever responded to anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, animals are an untapped resource. They really are a miracle drug that we really need to acknowledge and respect.
So what happens to a dog when, like you bring the dog into the house? Are dogs okay being alone all day? I mean, I feel like I work at home, so my pets have someone around all the time. Are they better?
Oh, yes. If you don't have time for a dog, you probably shouldn't get them.
Right.
A lot of the reasons that dogs act out is because they're left alone and they're unstimulated and they're frustrated. And, you can't just get a dog and expect it to teach or to learn what's expected of it. You have to teach it. And dogs need job. I mean, you can, if you do have to leave the dog alone, probably you shouldn't longer than 4 hours. You should have a dog walker come in and take care of it if you're going to be gone that long. But at least what you can do, dogs really can communicate with you. So as you leave, give your dog a job. Keep your eye on the bone, or keep your eye on the ball, or I want you to take a nap and relax, or whatever. And because they key into you, and if they really want to please you. So if they're just sitting alone all day long with nothing to do, they get bored, so they eat the couch or chew on your shoes.
And that's when they end up
back in the shelter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about your passion of rescuing dogs versus dogs that we buy at a pet store.
Oh dear, yes. I protest.
We may have
puppy
to
mills.
come back to this on the other side of the break.
Important. Yes, I protest puppy mills. Puppy mills. I don't know if you're familiar with puppy mills. I don't think people really understand. But these dogs are kept in cages. The mothers.
Well, tell us about the puppy mill. So let's start at the beginning. So what exactly is a puppy mill?
A puppy mill is a dog breeding factory. It's like a factory farm.
Are these in our backyards?
No,
or are they out of the city?
No,
or?
there's thousands and thousands of dogs that are kept in cages. Most of them are in the Midwest, and the dogs are shipped to the pet stores. So that's why all the pet stores, they lie about it. They say they don't get their dogs from the puppy mills, but they do. And
I'm sorry if I have any pet store owners listening. I'm sorry.
Well,
just tell us where your dogs come from.
Well, either they're lied to or they're lying, because that's where the dogs come from. And 90% of them are sick, and I don't know. These dogs are kept in cages. They're wire cages with no veterinary care, and the mothers are forced to breed over and over and over again until they give out, and then they kill them. They cut their vocal cords so that they can't cry. It's a horrible place for dogs. Dogs are not items. They're not. They're not commodities. Mm-hmm. They need to be treated with respect. And
so is it okay? So you don't recommend buying a dog from a pet store?
No.
But oh gosh, we're gonna have to go to break here for a second. But what I want to ask you on the other side of this break is, can you find a good dog from a breeder that is not a puppy mill? So stay with us. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back. I found the perfect